So here we have another germination chamber, and this one is actually being used specifically for grafted tomatoes. So grafting is a whole nother process of seed starting, and Rich, I'd love for you to describe for our viewers a little bit more about the process, just sort of basically why we do it and quickly how we do it.
Sure, Clara. Well, I graft tomatoes because I plant in the same greenhouses year over year, so I can grow tomatoes earlier and I can grow them up.
Okay.
I use a rootstock. Well, basically what grafting is you're taking two varieties of tomato. Well, one is a rootstock and one is a scion, which is the tomato that you're using. And then you cut them in half. There's several different methods, but I just cut them straight in half and then put them together with a grafting clip, which is a little silicone clip.
Okay.
And then I put them in this healing chamber, raise the humidity up, and keep them in total darkness for at least 24 hours.
Okay.
That keeps the sun away and keeps the stress off the plants and keeps it so that top plant that has been cut in half and has no root system alive through the humidity in the air.
Okay, great.
Then as the days go on, I take off the tarp, and then let a little bit of sun in through the 30% shade cloth. And then the next day I take another layer of shade cloth off.
Okay.
And as I'm doing that, I'm slowly rolling up the side of the humidity tent so that I'm letting the tomatoes I'm sort of forcing them to make that bond.
Great.
Because eventually there's no other way that tomato can survive than getting its nutrients and its water through the rootstock.
Okay, great. And I see with your setup here you have capillary mats underneath. Since you do not want to be adding water directly onto the plants, so you have to water from underneath.
Yeah,
correct?
It's important to remember that these plants are cut in half, and that if I'm putting any pressure on them over the top, they're just going to fall over.
Right.
So yeah, the capillary mats do really well in wicking moisture up through the potting soil and keeping all of these plants nice and moist and healthy.
Okay, and then you also have, I see, sort of a humidity little machine, and that's sort of adding humidity, keeping it moist through the night and depending on the day.
Yeah, that's right. This is a sort of cheap little Walmart humidifier that I got for, $25. And this thing is not necessary, but it really helps in keeping those grafts alive for the first 24 hours.
Right.
That first 24 hours is the most important time because these plants are so vulnerable at that time. So you want to keep the air at like a 95% humidity in total darkness to make sure this actually works.
Okay, great. And then just for our viewers, what are some of the varieties here? What tomatoes do we expect to see out of these plants here?
Well, I like to go really crazy. So I have all of the strangest heirloom varieties that I could possibly find. Some of my favorites are Vintage Wine, which is a really nice meaty striped orange and red tomato.
Yeah.
I have Cherokee Purple, which is a purple tomato. Kellogg's Breakfast, which is a giant, almost neon orange tomato. Solar Flare, Pink Berkeley Tie-Dye. The list kind of goes on.
Wow, great. And I see one of my favorites, which is Sun Gold.
Sun Gold, yeah. Sun Gold's a very important staple for any summer.
Yes, it is. Well, great. Well, you're making me hungry, and I can't wait to come back and try these later this summer.
Come this July.
Okay, I will.